Hello everyone, welcome to another Homeworlds commentary. This is a game between me and apolloq for a tournament that the player named Mr. Doctor put on. Uh, apolloq had some questions about this game, and I thought I'd talk about why the game shaped up the way it did. So let's get going. Looks like I have the first move. Pick a blue-red banker. Apollo takes yellow-blue fortress. Both build to get started. And here I trade for small blue with an eye to get an advantage in the blue economy. Since there's one blue star, I expect the blues to be the first color to have mediums available. Apollo also goes for blue, so nobody really has an advantage yet. I think we're both going to build medium ships here, and we do. So here I think we get to one of the most interesting choices in the game. Do we trade away our small blues or medium blues for another color? I am almost certain to trade my medium blue for a yellow in this case. Yeah, I like to have a medium yellow available for sacrifice. And here, Apollo, by trading his small blue, he's made it so that if I build blue again, I get a small instead of a medium, which slows down the game a little bit in terms of what sizes people get. I see this as a little bit of a mistake. Blue is not usually as powerful for sacrificing as yellow is. So Apollo still only has one movement available at a time, while I now have two because of the medium yellow. So knowing that Apollo is going to get crowded with yellow pretty quickly, looks like I'm continuing to build my yellows. I think Apollo would be wise to build another yellow right now, even though it opens up the mediums for me, or they should move their yellow to a new system so that they can build yellows more safely away from their home. They decided to move their medium blue out to a new system. I do like blue ships at green systems as a rule, since they can continue to build and diversify. But at the moment, let's see, I stick with that, I do. I'm spreading out my yellows. I've now got a pretty good lead in the yellows. I have two yellow ships and they've been spread out, while Apollo still has one yellow ship stuck at a world that's already got a yellow star. If Apollo were to build another yellow, I would quite cheerfully sacrifice my medium yellow to blow up his yellow ships and home star. So Apollo can't build yellow right now. I think they should be taking this turn to address that problem by moving their little yellow to another system. No, they built green. Green is a color I have access to as well, and so Apollo isn't going to get ahead in material by pushing the green. Yeah, so I'm taking advantage of my head start on yellows to continue building yellow. Apollo still, I think, should move their little yellow somewhere else. It could be to Alti, where that little yellow would have a medium defender once reds come online. They could move it to a little green, where it could build elsewhere, which is fine, but that opens up medium greens both to me and to Apollo. They could move it to a little blue, which would open up medium blues for both of us. Oh, okay, or they could trade for red. I don't think this is a great time to trade for red. No, they stick with that. While it's true that people are usually advised to get red immediately after their opponent gets red, I'm not particularly scared of this. This would be a bad time for me to try to trade for red. I'd either need to sacrifice my little blue to trade one of these yellows, or I would need to trade away a ship at home and lose color diversity in my home if I were to get red right now. But I don't think I need to get red immediately. I can spread out these little yellows, and if Apollo decides to invade Bleb, sacrificing the little yellow to do it, I've only got one ship left there anymore and can just run away. So I'm not very scared of that. Or better, yeah. Let's do the shopping spree right now. So I've got plenty of material here. And this is something where if Apollo had moved their small yellow to another system earlier, they had a couple of turns when they could have done it if they'd moved it to a green system. In particular, I wouldn't have been able to do this shopping spree safely. Well, I could have still done the shopping spree, but Apollo would at least have got to build a large yellow, and we'd be more even in material here. Instead, Apollo has got the diversity advantage, but is down in material. Apollo builds red, so they do have an advantage in the reds, which is nice, but I can easily jump into red at the medium stage. And nope, I'm not even bothering with that. I'm getting greedy for even more material, maybe. Moving a yellow to a new system. Yep, so I've got two places where I could build that last large yellow. And Apollo takes the last small red. But I've got so much material at this point that it's going to be pretty hard for Apollo to get anything done. Apollo spreads out the reds to build more, which is pretty good under the circumstances, but as soon as I get a red, my larges can just pester him like crazy. I'm not even apparently concerned about getting red just yet because I've got so much more material. I'm going to keep milking my material advantage. So Apollo gets a medium, and I get a large. And it's looking pretty bad for Apollo here. And so I might decide to skip the medium reds and go straight for a large red. Yep, I do. So now I can either start invading colonies or build the large yellow. Okay, so Apollo now has decided to take their little yellow somewhere safer, where it could build, and it can also cause a catastrophe if I build that large yellow in one of my colonies. I think that was a reasonably good move. Okay, this is probably better though. A little shopping spree for Apollo. They didn't get an additional large ship out of it, but they did manage to clean up the rest of the reds. So I'm going to be limited to one red unless I find somewhere to start taking things. Okay, so I get aggressive. Apollo doesn't have a good way to evacuate these ships. And under the circumstances, I would think I'd be quite happy to sacrifice a large red, even though it's a large ship. I get several smaller ships, and that's a good trade here. Especially since it would replenish my reds. If I sacrifice my only red ship and I don't get a red ship out of it, I get pretty nervous. But since I would be getting red ships, I think this is something that I should be quite comfortable with. Okay, so Apollo is looking at sacrificing their medium blue. That will keep it from getting captured. And they got some of their diversity back, got back their green and their blue. That's pretty good. I think I should still sacrifice the red to capture, or, I could build the large yellow. I've got plenty of options. Doing the sacrifice, yep. Alright, Apollo is in big trouble. But we'll go ahead and play this to the end. So they moved another ship to their Dioj colony, which I don't like all that much. The problem with this is I think they should have moved it to a new G1 system so that they would at least be threatening to build the large yellow. As it is, I can safely build that large yellow anywhere that I feel like. And by putting yet another ship in the Dioj system, it makes it even more attractive as a target for invasion by my large yellow here. But I decide to build instead. Okay. Yeah, Apollo doesn't have a lot of good options. The shopping spree. No, they haven't got room for a shopping spree. If they were to build 3 reds right now, they would have 3 reds both in Dioge and in their home, and they would only have those reds in their home. And so they'd be vulnerable to a catastrophe and lose the game. So they don't do that. This is better. A little better. They still aren't going to want to do a shopping spree, even spreading out their reds, because then they'd have 2 reds at home, and I can catastrophe 2 reds as well, because I have 2 reds. Okay, Dioge is still a good invasion target. I take advantage. Apollo may... I think Apollo's best move probably here is to sacrifice the little yellow to move the blue away, but then they would be completely out of the yellow economy. Um, they really don't have a good move, but at least sacrificing the little yellow to move one of the other ships away makes it so there's only 1 ship left that I can capture. Okay. Apollo builds red. Now, you know what? I think that is better. At least this way they are close to getting another large ship, which is what they desperately need. They need another large ship so that they can have a colony that's actually defended. Looking at saving the blue instead. No, I think you should build. In fact, I think Apollo should build the medium red at home here, and then build the large red if I capture. Sacrificing the little yellow. So that was my first thought. Although, you know, this colony is just as vulnerable to invasion as Dioge was, but Apollo doesn't have a yellow anymore. So they can't even run away. So I sacrifice my little yellow to capture a little yellow. Oh, no, changed my mind. I'm building that little yellow. So Apollo is completely blocked from yellow. Apollo cannot move anymore. Brutal. Apollo builds a little green. Now I take the little red. Don't I? No. I build the green. Okay, so Apollo has... can't get to red. Can't get any additional green this way. But this is actually looking a little better for Apollo than it was a second ago. Apollo now has a factory. Apollo could sacrifice the large green, rebuild the large green, build medium red at home, and build a large red here in Europe. That's actually a pretty good improvement for Apollo Q's position. Not having any yellow is still really devastating. No, they shouldn't put both of those reds here. I'll just overpopulate them. Nope, they committed to that. They should have built the medium red in their home. Okay, catastrophe those away. And Apollo builds, which is about as good as they can do. Factory build is a little better, I suppose. But I don't think it's going to make much difference. Okay, I see a win here. Yeah. So anytime a yellow gets sacrificed, I figure there's a pretty good power play coming. So sacrifice the medium yellow. I'm seeing move both large yellows into Apollo's home. Apollo can take one of them, but then a red sacrifice will take that ship back, as well as Apollo's only large ship. And Apollo's pretty swamped at that point. Okay, Apollo doesn't even bother with the capture. Trading for the yellow. Sacrifice to capture their large ship and one of the reds. Might have been better for me to capture both of the reds instead, since Apollo's... Apollo to do a capture back would have to sacrifice their only red, and I could then capture back whatever they captured, and then I would have reds and larges in their home, and they'd be sunk. But I think this will work just about as quickly. I need to get some more red on the scene, trade some red back at home. Apollo moves a little blue to my home, Thinking about it, no, just building the large green back. Sacrifice to take their large and some reds. Okay, yeah, they could have prolonged this ever so slightly. No, not even that. No, I was going to say that Apollo could have prolonged this game by sacrificing the little red to capture one of my little reds, but the winning move there is um, I sacrifice my medium green to build the medium green in Apollo's home and build a red. No, oh, that I've miscounted the reds. Um, okay, they could have prolonged it by one more turn, I think, but they didn't. Okay, so they moved a little blue to my home, slightly spiteful, um, looking to make it look like they were. So in the final position, I call this trying to leave a more attractive corpse when you have lost the game, but want to make it look like you were up to something in the final position. They did at least have one ship in my home. All right, well, there's that game. I think things really went south when Apollo didn't prepare better to participate in the yellow economy. Yellows are what I ran away with, and how I ended up getting a really big material advantage. So keep an eye on what color your opponent is pursuing at the beginning, and decide whether you should be imitating them or if you should continue pursuing some other color. Keep an eye on that, all of you. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.